Let me see if this is on. Okay, yeah, I'm live. It's dark right now, you guys. Uh, I don't want this conversation to alarm anybody because it's not what we're doing. I haven't had a talk in a while. If you can't really see me that well, it's okay. Just hear my voice. It's been a minute since I've had, real deep, I guess, intellectual conversation on this channel. And I've been kind of changing things up a bit because I personally want to attract new audiences, personally. And so I'm doing my best to tone down my cursing and other things like that. But today's conversation, you know, is going to go in depth intellectually on a couple of topics. So, number one, peace, 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 everybody. Number one, I want to talk about this CERN thing. And there's this big influencer on TikTok. Her name is WooLady. I want to talk about that particular topic as well. And I've also been listening to Alexis K. Tyler's talks. I don't know if you all have seen them, her psychic channelings with her and the recently deceased or passed Clive Davis. So we're going to get into that as well. We're going to get into Young Miami, and we're talking about real self mastery. Now, our ancestors, um, they would warn us, this is ancient knowledge, about how we're in the realm of no consequence. We're in the realm of no consequence. So, what that meant was humanity, see, what you know as reality now is that now we have rules and structures depending on what country. We have a large, quote unquote, world governing body such as the UN. There's declarations, there's been conventions, there's been all kinds of stuff about human rights, things like that. Penal code statutes, whatever, right? How we regulate trade, commerce, and how we govern, common law, etc. Peace, peace, and love, you guys. So, in this reality, all of that came about by design, but it also came through with trial and error, lifetime after lifetime, age after age, because nothing was set up. It was lawless, this realm. And so they would warn us about, okay, listen, you're in the realm of no consequence. If you do your research and you look at some of this stuff, the artifacts, and it would draw out where we were in comparison to where the enlightened beings were or where the less denser beings were. We had to realize that things could happen to you here and there would literally be no consequence in terms of spiritually, there will be no consequence. See, when I would talk to y'all about what spirituality was, it has nothing to do if you're a good person or not. Spirituality has nothing to do with that. And I have told you guys from the jump, this has to do with you mastering energy. Some of the most wicked people with the money, with the finance, with the cloud, with everything, right? A lot of them have obtained it because they are masters of energy. They're not masters of being a good being or a good person. They're masters of energy. They recognize energy, they know how to harness energy, and they know who and what to prey on. And the more melanin you have, the better. Because then, if I'm a being that has mastered energy, and I know that it's the dark feminine energy on the planet that's actually, quote unquote, running the show, but there's a bunch of, quote unquote, melanated women. It doesn't matter. You can call them Black women. You can call them Latina women. You can call them, different parts of the world, whatever, if they have more melanin, even some of the Indian sisters over there in Asia, it don't matter. If they have melanin, I'm able to harness that, especially if they're broken, if they're traumatized, if I get them in contracts, I can harness off of that energy. And this is why we're going to get into some deep stuff today. This is why it has been so important. I know I put stuff on private because TikTok took down my channel, 30,000 subscribers. I just had to sue Facebook last week, Meta last week, because of my Instagram. AI had flagged some things as me and it wasn't me, but that's okay. Got to sue them. So I'm walking on a tightrope on YouTube, okay? But one has to understand that over the years, I have told you all the importance of investing in yourself, not just your skill sets, but investing in yourself spiritually, because this is a game of skill. This is about skill. This is about skill. This is about who got it. We're not talking about haves and the have-nots. It's about you knowing how to master your energy. Don't nobody give a damn about if you're a good person. It's about if you know how to master that energy. People getting in arms about CERN. What are you concerned about CERN for if you're the master of your reality? As I've been telling people all throughout these years, it doesn't matter what the circumstance is. You stand up tall against the objective, against the obstacles, and you recognize that you run this. The reality, I'm telling you, the more that you move throughout this reality, the test will try to crumble you. They will try to crumble you. I have been through some things, you guys, that have just been so unbelievable. People have committed suicide for far less shit. No offense, not to compare, but I'm telling you, there have been things that I've gone through that have just been unbelievable. But I've learned to respect me as a being, not because I've been able to come out on the other side, but I've also had to learn that there was no rope coming to save me. That was me being ushered into my mastery of learning how to manipulate the reality when it is not in my favor, when the reality sucks, when everything around me is not working, when I'm being knocked upside the head, when I'm getting my ass whipped. Do you understand? And I'm constantly having to take the reins over my life, not just physically, but spiritually as well. This is about energy. It's not just about sitting there meditating. There's a number of different tools you can do. But if I'm being honest, I don't sit there and just meditate all damn day, guys. I don't. There's a lot of stuff I don't even do anymore. I just believe in who I am and what I am. And recognize what I'm up against. You got to go through the test of recognizing the red flags right away. And then moving accordingly and trusting your journey. You know, it's so funny. I just realized this last week, and I'm looking at my hair, right? I was bald when I made my vision board. I had started growing out my hair on my birthday, going on almost 4 years ago. And in that vision board, I had put where I was going to live again, The different number sequences I was seeing that were so miraculous and magical. I printed out AI generated images actually of my hair looking like this. I didn't even put in the AI that I would look like this. It actually generated an image of me looking like this, and I selected the goddamn picture. I put up the land as a symbol of I'm going to have land. I put up some different affirmations. And do you know I'm actually living in that reality now? I don't give a damn about CERN. I'm the one that runs the show. And even if they did, quote unquote, say, well, CERN is one of those machines that collapse us into the most, a reality that is most similar to this reality. Well, that just tells me in every goddamn dimension that I'm the one running the show because I'm still living the life that I put up on my vision board, huh? So why are we even concerned about shit that don't got nothing to do with us? If you're a master of the energy in your reality, then you know in every dimension or lifetime that everything should be working out in your favor. Sure, there may be some shit that's different, but for the most part, they're not going to be able to hijack a vision and a purpose that's bigger than them. See, we're a part of an energetic force that's bigger than their gods. And I'm not going to say the group, I'm not going to say the name, but it is much bigger than Lucifer. It is much bigger than Satan. And as somebody that's 4 times over a Capricorn, our ruler is Satan or Saturn. And one that recognizes what Satan and Saturn is, it's a strict teacher. Saturn is very balanced. It will show you restriction, but it will teach you discipline, and it will teach you how to go up against this system and when to respect it. There's rules. There's laws. And once you understand that, then you can do what you want to do. You can't be worried about a certain particle of, oh, we're switching timers, they're switching up things, and oh, I woke up so tired. Oh, I had so much energy because they cut the machine off. Y'all are projecting, and you're giving away too much power to something that shouldn't have any control over you in the first place. That's what makes, and I have to say this for the people that are watching, and what I've always said to some people. This was also something that I pinned up on my Instagram because we are measurable as beings. Some of you all vibrate on the level of 500,000 beings or more. Y'all don't realize that a lot of people are not vibrating high at all. Some people are real life NPCs. Some people are just unaware, lost. You don't know if they're on the way up or down. They literally just stay afloat. They're turned on, but they don't work. And then a lot of us are only using 2% of our brain power. Some of you all may be using 3 to 5. And even then, that might be higher than 500,000 people. So yeah, I recognize that they know who we are. I recognize that they see us. I recognize that they try to shut us down in many different ways. The key here is that you need to stop downplaying yourself. You need to stop downplaying yourself and your power. Because you think that they may not be attacking you. You think that you're not valuable. And that's exactly what they prey on. That's what they've always preyed on. And especially if you got a little bit of melanin in you, huh? They're going to be on your ass. Because that's the energy they want to harness. I don't care about nothing else. I'm not telling you to be a good person. Hell, that's on you. I know I want to be a good person, but I also know that I want to be a bitch to whoever want to be a bitch to me. I'm not going to be a nice guy or anything. I am interested in mastering energy because I recognize the realm in which we live in, and there are beings that do not deal with rules here like how we deal with rules here. They don't have the same rules as not harming children. They don't have the same rules as not harming women or people that are innocent. They don't have those kinds of rules and moral compass. So why are you playing on their level? Why are you expecting them to play on your level? They're not. They never will. So it's time for y'all to start cracking out that whip and mastering energy, because they kicking some of y'all ass out here. And I'm here to tell you, some of you all are vibrating at almost 1,000,000 people. You got more energy, more value than 1,000,000 people on this planet. Some of these people are just absolutely useless when it comes down to the spiritual war. And you can never underestimate your power. Do you understand what I'm saying? Let me read these comments. Hey, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, have fun. Have fun. So you can never underestimate who you are. It's so important. You know, I was going down TikTok today. Lately, I've just been building. I've been watching building videos. I deleted social media off of my home screen, and I just been on YouTube looking at building videos, just people that build with nothing in the middle of nowhere, and I just absolutely loved it. Some of it's scripted, yeah, but I just love it. That illusion that people can literally make things out of nothing, because we do it every day. We do it with our thoughts, with our beliefs anyway, in our mind. And then we watch things manifest in the 3D all the time. And it's something that I'm often amazed and fascinated by. But anywho, got up on TikTok because I was recovering from a long night. Got on TikTok and I was going down this rabbit hole of WooLadyTV. Now, I'm not knocking this sister, but it is some things that I would like to discuss. Okay. Um, she is a young lady in Miami, melanated sister. She looks beautiful. Okay. Very voluptuous in all the right areas. Hello. She got her teeth done. She's always at the shopping stores, Louis Vuitton, Chanel, whatever. She's just bagged out, swagged out. The issue though is that she's not giving like Sure Seven advice or Ashley Dalton advice. Those are, young ladies, or not say young ladies. Those are women that I respect deeply in terms of giving advice to young women, as it is. Especially Ashira Goddess, Ashira Seven. If you listen to a lot of the stuff that she's been talking about, in the past, maybe the past 15 years on YouTube, she has a lot of good knowledge and information spiritually. That's one. And then she has her low vibrational channel. I wouldn't say low vibrational, but she just go down a vibration when talking to people that are not actually spiritual in how to deal with men. Okay. So Woo Lady though, she'll go on live and talk about how to get these tricks, how to spend their money, but she's not revealing that she may in fact be popping puss, okay, and selling it and dealing with some of these young men who are at these clubs scamming, cracking cars, doing fraud, being watched by the feds. Yeah, because you're touching those people's money, the Federal Reserve. You're touching the juice man's money. Y'all know what I say? Y'all know what I mean when I say the juice man. You're touching that juice man's money. Okay? So I'm not snitching on my sister, but my sister might be snitching on herself. And you're influencing a culture of young women by telling them, hey, you need to look like this, you need to say this, you need to do this. This needs to be your behavior. I got an ebook on how to trick, how to get what you want from a trick, blah, 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 blah. How to pay your bills. Wooda, wooda, wooda. I want y'all to know that these men are not just giving out money just to look at you. They're not giving out money just to spend time with you. And this is why I've always encouraged both men and women. You got to get your own. And if y'all see me on this internet or on Instagram, on TikTok, I have always had hustles going on. Motherfucker, that's what I wasn't gonna cuss. But I have taken classes. I can go and frame a building, lay tile down, put plywall down. I know how to do cob, invest, teach, make classes, social media marketing, AI automation, build apps, content creation, how to go viral on social media management, anything you can fucking think of. And there's probably shit I'm missing. Huh? Because I invest in myself. Why? Because I saw from a very young age what the game was. So many young women, and I have to say this, I wasn't born with an ass. Wasn't born with any of that. Yeah, sure, I had tits, I had breasts, absolutely, yeah. But I wasn't born with an ass. I didn't have a Coke-shaped body. I didn't have those things that would have made me, quote unquote, a bombshell. When you walk in a room, people stop and stare and look at you. You know what I mean? Just based off your look. And we have to realize some of the things we're not blessed with, you actually may be protected by, but I'll get into that in a different topic. So I realized from a very young age that I wasn't one of those young women. So I also recognized too that I didn't really like dealing with men. I did not like the energy of a lot of the men that I was around and grew up by, whether they were young men or older men. The mentality to me was very slow moving, lacked intelligence, lacked depth. There have been a few men that I've run across that have been great, but after a while, you then begin to see, because a man can only keep a facade for so long. After a while, then they start to, slip in certain things. They'll play the game for a little while, and then they try to move and usher in wanting to force romance or sexual intimacy. And I was always that one of them kind of people that shut that shit down right away. Because one of the things that I was never going to do was force myself to act like I like something that I don't for the sake of survival. And maybe I was blessed in my Capricorn ways 4 times over a Capricorn. I was blessed in my Capricorn ways so that I didn't have to tolerate anything if I didn't want to. I didn't have to act like I liked anybody. And I tell people to this day, if I don't like you, I just don't deal with you, period. I don't fake in front with people. I had a man tell me all kinds of shit a couple months ago about he has millions this, millions that, which he does. Which he does. He's not faking or flexing. Has a beautiful home, glass home. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. One of the best. A lot of land, luxurious. He lives down here in Costa Rica with me, yeah. But who gives a fuck? If I don't like you, I don't like you. If I don't want you, I don't want you. Money don't move me. I'll have my own. I may not have what you have, but what I'm working with can't be bought. And unfortunately, a lot of the young women are looking at people like Young Miami and Woo Lady and thinking that this is the kind of lifestyle that they should be living. And if you read the protocols of the Elders of Zion, one of the chapters in the book talks about materialism. That's where they get us so bad. Materialism. You see somebody on the internet with a car you want, with a truck you want, with the house you want, with the ass you want, with the tooth job you want. Hello. The golds. You see them going on trips to here, there, the villas, the beach life, whatever. I can go on and on. You see people living that life, and then you feel bad about yourself and your situation. But you don't realize that this young woman may be selling herself, that she could never get back for those material items. She's putting a price on something you can't put a price on. Now, I'm not making nobody feel bad if you do sex work. I'm not making nobody feel bad if that's what you do. It's the oldest profession in the world, and it's clearly what men are paying for. So I'm not going to shame nobody. But what I'm saying is that we cannot act like there are not consequences for giving away things that are intangible. Case in point. Number one, I don't fuck with this young woman no more. We fell out because she was on some weird shit. But one of the things that she did say was that when she was working in a club on the West Coast, she told me temporarily when she left the industry, she went to go work at a club, a gentleman's club. And she said that, you know, one of the house moms, you know, she would tell the girls, you'll never remember what you spent the money on, but you will always remember what you did it for. Meaning that, okay, girls, you're working in this club, and these men may offer you a little extra to do a little something. Hey, when we leave out of here, you know, let's go do woo, 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 woo. And you have to know your boundaries and your limits, because that price may be enticing. But once you cross that line and you go further without protecting yourself or whatever the case may be, you give away parts of yourself. You never remember what you spent it on, but you will always remember what you did it for. You'll always remember how much you did it for. Song of the summer is Spin That Shit with Young Miami. And as we also know, um, she has been one to be revealed as someone that was in the industry as a quote unquote rapper. And the front was she was Diddy's girlfriend. The truth may be, allegedly, that he was selling her and that she was working as one of his working girls. If you all can pick up what I'm putting down. So here she is defending him and his actions. This is one of these women, one of the women that she is, that the world or our society is defending. She's defending Diddy's actions and things like that. And then also on the flip side, that came out about her, allegedly. And now she has Song of the Summer. And I find it funny and ironic that the movie also with Keke Palmer came out at the same time that the song started getting traction. This movie about the boosters. Okay, so her song lyrics talking about boosters scamming, fellas. Okay, spin that, cracking cards or doing fraud, whatever. And then you got this movie out talking about the boosters, which I find very interesting. Promoting this kind of culture and knowing that a lot of you all are struggling to pay the rent. This culture that they're pushing in our communities is so toxic to the point where now you got things like Cohen Riley, which is that baby that passed away because a quote unquote officer in uniform suspected his mother of boosting from Walmart when she had a receipt in hand. But because she was afraid and scared or whatever and drove off or whatever because she was like, I don't understand what he's doing. What's going on? I got a receipt. Woo. He shot in the car, killed the baby. That's crazy. That's crazy. This is the kind of culture that is being pushed. And we don't see the ramifications. And people think, oh, it's not related. Unfortunately, guys, as complex as we may think it is, it's actually not. It's actually not. A lot of the culture, and even some of my own family members struggle with this. They have grown up in really nice households or whatever the case may be. And for some reason, they want to be gangsters and thugs and they listen to this goddamn rap music. They listen to their friends. They can't really fathom the fact that they're privileged and that everybody may not have the same life that they do. But they want to be quote unquote cool. They want to look like these rappers. But you don't realize, like, if you listen to Alexis K. Tyler channel and some of her readings, you don't realize, like, what Clive Davis was saying. A lot of these rappers are getting bent over in the office, shucking and jiving for the juice man. I can't say the group of people, okay, with a star that's really high, okay, but the juice man, shucking and jiving and deep throating for the man. Modern day bug breaking, and it is going on. Majority of them are. And if they're not doing anything that is homosexual, they may have other things that they're doing. They may have other things that they're doing. They may have, like what Alexis was saying, other vices that they're into. Because Clive Davis had the dirt on everybody. And what's sad about all of this is a lot of us, we wanted to be famous so bad. We wanted materialism so bad, and they put it all out there. That's why I'm saying that we have to really pay attention. This is where we're getting our ass kicked because they publish everything. They kept putting everything out there for us to read. The protocols of the elders of Zion that put out everything for us to read. Henry Ford had published the International Juice Man Problem. The books were written, they told us everything. And our people were struggling with a wound to want to be famous. And we didn't read the paperwork. We didn't read the contracts. We believed the lies. We believed the manipulation. I don't care as long as people see me as a star, but then you're broke and they're making so much money off of you. Some of the most wealthy people you've never even seen before. You've never heard their names before. A lot of people in the world can't even name the top 10 richest people. You can't name them. And I guarantee you, the ones that you can name, they're actually not the top 10 richest people in the world. The ones that are the most wealthy, you've never seen them. You don't know their name. But we wanted to be famous so bad that we would sell our souls, we would sell our likeness, we would sell our blood, we would sell our DNA, we would sell our children. There was nothing ever wrong with getting your money in an honest way. You know, if you like, we were never, there was nothing wrong with us ever getting our money in an honest way, paying bills, working a regular job, quote unquote, being an entrepreneur. Nothing was ever wrong with that. But we were made to feel like that's not the way. The way is, you know, moving in a different way where we got to be seen first, not heard. And if we are heard, it's got to be my voice, it's got to be my sound. But not heard in the contract, not heard at the board meeting, not heard calling the shots. And it's so sad. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. All of these rappers sell a lifestyle that most will be unalive for. You know, one of the ones that got exposed, years ago, he wasn't actually doing syrup and doing drugs, but he was rapping about it. Future. He wasn't doing some of that stuff. He wasn't doing any of that stuff. But Big Pharma was the one running the show. He signed the contract. So he had to do what they asked him to do. Y'all got to realize, like I said, all it took was one lovely being. I love the story of Jesus Christ. It just took one man to show who somebody was. And Jesus Christ is also the story of Lebe. Okay, Lebe. The woman that was born through parthenogenesis. The daughter of two mothers. That's the real Jesus Christ. The daughter of two mothers. According to the Dogon tradition, Lebe. Lebe. Do some research on that. The story of the real Jesus Christ. The magic. We also share DNA with her very, very far down the line. But that DNA, they again try to manipulate through energy, through these phones, through the technology, through the public education system, through the indoctrination, through the food, through the things they put in your water, the sound manipulation, to poison you, to try to jack you up in any way, shape, or form. And I kept telling you guys, I made a video a long time ago that they've spent billions upon trillions of dollars trying to program and brainwash you, and it was not even effective. I need you to understand how powerful you are. A lot of you all, they spend so much money trying to brainwash you. I need you to understand how powerful you are. If you have not been brainwashed yet or manipulated yet, if you still have your intelligence intact, if you do not succumb to fear, they tell you that the world, quote unquote, is ending, so you need to go do this, go do that, to bully you into submission. Because they're going to try to do it again. They already did it in 2020, 2021. They locked down countries, told you couldn't work a job, you couldn't go into the bank, you couldn't do XYZ, you can't file lawsuits, you can't do anything. And what did it take? It took us getting fed up and tired, and we stopped believing, and we just started going back to normal after a while, as if it never happened. And they will attempt it again. They always will try to attempt it again. And as the reality tests you more and more and more, you have to know your power and know that there is no limitation that will prevent you from being able to control your own reality. I tell people this all the time. This is not about being a good person. This will always be about you learning how to master your energy and understanding your value. I can go anywhere in the world and make money, guys. I can go anywhere in the world and make money. Shit. I met up with a client yesterday. I gave him a price. I said, look, I know my value. I know what I bring to the table, and I'm not playing. Look, you got to let me know. The price is in between 1,000 to 3,500. I know what I can bring. I know exactly how we're going to change, and I can solve your problems. I know how to do it. I know my value. Anywhere I go, I know my value because I invest in myself. I protect myself as well. I don't let people in this reality tell me what I can and can't do. I always know how to grow. I always know how to evolve. No matter what. You can drop me off in the middle of wherever. I'm going to know how to survive. And that's the kind of life we need to be living. Because when you can master energy, when you understand what you're in, when you know that you are the author over your reality, you affirm and you shift, there's nothing that CERN can do. Because in every single reality or dimension, you're going to be the one running the show. There is no dimension where I'm not going to have peace in my life. There is no dimension where I'm not going to be the one calling the shots. There is no dimension where I'm going to be broke. There is no dimension where I'm going to be on my knees. There is no dimension to where my magic is not working. Come on. Are we really, really going to sit up here and be concerned about a goddamn CERN machine? Come on, guys. Really? Really? Okay, yes. Culture is very powerful. If you want to get caught up in an alphabet agenda, go ahead and learning what you are telling us about energy. Yes, I am trying to learn magic. Start, okay? Like I told you guys, magic starts here in the mind, first and foremost. Okay. Some of the most powerful manifestations started with a thought first for me. Okay. Like I told you guys, how I look literally right now is a manifestation of how, or I'm gonna say how I look right now. How I am living my life right now is a manifestation of what I put on a vision board 3 years ago. AI, like I said, AI had literally generated an image of me with my hair looking like this. I swear. It's crazy. AI had literally generated an image with my hair looking like this. I had put um, the place that I wanted to go, and I actually visit there once a week, every week. The land that I was going to have, and other things were on the list. But for the most part, this was a creation that I had put out into the universe years prior. So yeah, CERN was also on. They had their own agenda. They had their own magic they had going on. They, had their own things, their attacks or whatever. They tried to mess with my money. They tried to take down my accounts and all. But it didn't matter. Why? Because I am the operant operator of my reality. I don't care what people throw at me. I'm protected. So let me give you some advice. It starts in the mind first. And what you could do robotic affirmations, that's one thing. And then as you're learning magic, right? Um, you can, for protection, which is something, I recommend people start off with protection. You can go get you a dollar store candle. It does not have to be a 7 day. It could be a pillar candle if you would like. It could be whatever you could afford. Okay? It could be whatever you could afford. Our ancestors, when they were doing magic, they didn't have all this intricate shit. Okay? You can go get you a pillar candle, whatever. Get you you may have some protection herbs already in your pantry. Okay? And you get you a list of things, you write it down, right? Um, if you're into hoodoo, okay? Hoodoo is a closed practice, by the way, because I have some people on my channel that are not quote unquote African American or melanated indigenous from the Americas. So hoodoo is considered a closed practice, but they use the Book of Psalms. So you can go and Google, a scripture that's protecting in the Book of Psalms, whatever you feel, right? Um, and you protect you say that several times. You really get into that flow, that energy, right? And you carve it into that candle. You put your name onto the candle. You put the herbs over it. You may need another pillow candle as well, just so that you can burn it, and then you can seal in the wax on that particular candle when you do the carvings of the scripture or your name or whatever it is that you want on there, right? Magic is really creative about you, your energy, and your belief in it. Okay. And then from there, once you've said your prayer, once you've also done your cleansing, before you do anything, it's also good to cleanse. So you can cleanse with salt. Salt is cleansing. You can get in the shower, you can, clean yourself off with salt if you don't have anything. This is just like basic hoodoo stuff. If you don't have all the fancy stuff, use what you have already in your house. You can cleanse yourself with salt, you know, get fresh. If you don't have Palo Santo or you don't have Florida water or sage or whatever. You don't have any of this stuff, then most people got salt. So just clean yourself off with some salt or whatever, get into that mode of just, tell yourself, hey, I'm cleansed, I'm protected, blah, 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 blah. All the negative energy in my life or anything that's keeping me stagnant or stuck, it is now being removed. And you just envision all of that nastiness or that negative energy or whatever just being washed away from you. Salt is cleansing. Okay, salt is cleansing, and bad spirits and energy do not really deal with salt. That's why in hoodoo they tell you put salt outside your window, put it out your window pane or whatever, put it in the corners of your house. They can't stand salt. Okay, sea salt, they can't stand it. So just clean yourself off with that. Okay, just make it simple. Do not make it hard. And then from there, you do the magic like I told you. You get you a black candle or a white candle. When you get your black candle can really get some stuff off of you, right? But white candle is protection too. It's very common at the grocery store, Dollar Tree, Dollar General. Again, white candle, protective herb, also salt if you want. Okay, put salt on your candle. You can put let's see, something that's also protective, basil. Some people got basil. Um, you can do cinnamon. Okay, cinnamon also brings in money and other different protection herbs you can do. Okay, put that on your candle. Like I said, say your psalm. Okay, get into that mode and sitting with yourself and looking at yourself being protected. Okay, protection, and then like that sucker and know that it worked. And then if you need to do it again, then you do it again. And if you need to do it again, then you do it again. Magic requires practice. It requires intentional focus. Okay, and it'll get better and better as you practice it. You do not have to have a lot of money. Mm-mm. You could start with the stuff you have in your house. That's what our ancestors did. You got all these people that got all this shit, and then they ain't got nothing going on for themselves. I make things happen in the mind. That's how powerful I am. I make shit happen in the mind. When I feel like I need to go on over to that altar and get stuff done, then I do. But I also know that my mind is very powerful too. And I also know that if I had nothing else, you drop me in the middle of the goddamn forest. I'm the ceremony, the ritual, and the altar. Hello. I am the walking manifestation. I am the breathing ritual. I am the granted wish in motion. There you have it. If I don't have any of that shit, know who you are. Man, know thyself. And the more that you embody that and you walk in that and you're strong in that, the more they can't mess with you. They just can't. A road opening ritual that's really good too. If you want to open up the path, you feel so blocked. You feel so blocked and you feel so stagnant in your life, like nothing's working. Road openings are very good. I love doing road openings. I feel like my best work is road openings. Um, and it's interesting because also in Ifa, uh, I am a child of Ilegwa, Eshu. Okay, Eshu, child of Eshu. And in order for you to get to the other orishas, you got to go through Eshu, right? Eshu is the orisha that is the road opener. And, I actually do road openings very well. Um, it kind of scared me at first, I'm not going to lie. I kind of backed up from it after, for a minute, actually, when I did a ritual. It was very powerful, and I was like, you know what, this this is kind of crazy, let me back up a bit. But road opening work is amazing. Now, I didn't use this particular scripture for road work, but I will share it with you all. I think Psalms 23 is really good for road opening work in conjunction with Psalm 91 for protection. But another one that I find that's very powerful is Psalm 24, verse 7. Okay. That one is very powerful for road opening work. And people would tell you make sure you have a certain color, this, that, and the third. You can have orange, which is really good, or I use red. If you don't have it, then you use what you have. Okay, don't make this complicated. It's really all about your intention, and that's really powerful for opening up roads and you being intentional and being precise because you don't want to open up roads that you just don't want to open. Right, so you be intentional about what roads you want closed. um like there is no dimension where I'm XYZ, right? um so just be clear on that with your intentions, people. Okay. Yeah, so I've been live almost an hour now. Welcome. We got into a bunch of conversations about CERN, self mastery, WooLadyTV. I really hope y'all go back and watch this. This is a pretty powerful one. But at the end of the day, people, you can literally master and do anything that you want in this reality. I'm telling you right now. I do not care about what these people have planned for you or what they have planned for humanity, treating you all like cattle and sheep. I can't stand it. Somebody said, so do you agree with India Irie? I do agree with India Irie's message about what she's saying in regards to Young Miami's song. I mean, like when y'all look at Young Miami's behavior, it's already been talked about how she was a working girl for Diddy. She was not Diddy's girlfriend. She was a working girl for Diddy. Her wealth did not really, she wasn't really making no money as a rapper. People don't understand, like, and again, I want y'all to go back to Alexis K. Tyler's lives that she's been putting up talking about Clive Davis. She's been channeling his energy or whatever, and some other people. Some of y'all may think it's bullshit or whatever, you may not have to believe it, right? Whatever. I think that even if it is bullshit, I don't think it is, but even if it is, she was saying that historically, most rappers don't get their money, or artists just don't get their money from making the music. They get their money from exploiting themselves and being sold. See, a lot of the executives, they're the ones that keep the money. See, the people that we look up to are actually trafficked. And I told people this years ago, even before Alexis K. Tyler was doing readings and stuff like that or whatever. Like, I was telling people before, like, no, like I literally had a live where I told y'all we was going through the AI, the glitch with AI, and I literally had a whole session. I just downloaded all those lectures from YouTube onto my computer. And I got it backed up somewhere, but literally we had a whole free Beyonce campaign because we literally was talking about how she's actually being trafficked. Yeah. A rich working girl. Now, is she getting her money from music? Yeah, I think so because a lot of y'all are buying her music. A lot of y'all are going to her concerts and things like that. But she has to pay the piper. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? If they call her and say, Beyonce, you need to open up and give it to us, she will. I don't think y'all realize that a lot of them are not even with the people they want to be with. Everything is arranged in that in that industry. People don't have no freedom like you think they do. And then you never read the contracts. The contracts they have things in them. When they say, oh, you got to sell your soul, it's deeper than that. You don't have no freedom. You have nothing. People don't realize the trade-off. So to sum it up, yes, I do believe what India Ari is saying when she's saying that that Young Miami, her spreading that song, spin that culture with the fraudsters, the scammers, and the boosters, telling the young people and spreading that in our culture, knowing it's fed time for stuff like that. I don't give a damn if you on Cash App running $25 scams. That's $25 that belongs to the Federal Reserve and the juice man in his system. And you're going to go to the slammer. And so many of our people are already in the slammer. We make up 13% of the population, but we make up 38% of the prisons. They just got up on television and they just said that they started putting our people on LSD I think 5 to 7 times the actual amount that they should have been putting them on, but they were in prison. So guess what? They were property of the state and they were putting them on LSD at horrible, torturous amounts. Because when you're in their prisons, you are their property. Don't y'all get it? You are their cattle. You are their slaves. When you enter people's prisons, you are subject to whatever they want you to do. And that just came out on the Congress floor. Are they going to do anything about it? No. Was it inhumane? Duh, of course. Do they care? No. It's just another wound that they're opening up against energy harvest, and they want people to be upset about it. It's another thing they want people to be upset about. Another thing that people are distracted by, won't take action by, won't step into their power, won't do anything, won't stand up for themselves, none of that. Another thing people can be scared and traumatized by. So they're promoting that culture. You don't realize that in doing so, it can subject you to things just like that. It can subject you to being pimped out in these prisons. It can subject you to literally working in these people's system. You know, like even in Alabama, they would literally deny parole to people that actually deserved it and to people who weren't even guilty. Deny it too, because they were making so much money with the prisoners working at McDonald's and Arby's and Wendy's or whatever, paying them less than half of minimum wage at that job, and the state would pocket the rest. So if you ask me, what that is, yes, I do believe that India.Arie is right. But I mean, it's India.Arie. Come on, like she was one of them girls again that talked about, not the average girl from your video, brown skin, just that neo soul movement back in the day where everything was so ashe and high vibe and head wraps and crystals and jewelry and meditation. She came from that era of black music, of neo soul black music, where it was so high vibrational and about love before everything just took a turn. And we didn't have any more conscious R&B or neo soul anymore. Of course, we had gangsta high vibrational rap that came before that, but neo soul was one of them kind of genres that really took a turn, and we went really high vibrational. And then after that, it was no more. Okay. And she talked about how, a lot of the executives, including Clive Davis, she said was an irritation in her side, India.Arie. And why India.Arie kind of left the industry because of her not being valued and appreciated, because again, she did not want to comply and do certain things. And so when you don't comply and you do certain things in the industry, you are not famous anymore. They don't push you anymore. They don't do any of that anymore. you are pretty much uh done. Okay. So she's correct. Yes. And I do get that Young Miami does come from a life of, where her mom got locked up for scamming and murder. That may be all she know. And I know you're not justifying her ignorance. I don't think she's ignorant at all. I think Young Miami is absolutely intelligent. Okay, I really do. However, when you sign those people contract, you do whatever they say you're going to do. That's what people do not understand. Music is not making nobody no money. When's the last time some of y'all ass even paid for an album? Music is not making people no money. So she signed that contract, okay, and she getting with them people, and she got linked up with Diddy, and Diddy is one of those kinds of people. Again, he's just the Black Clive Davis. She is going to do whatever he tells her to do. Just like Cassie had to do whatever Diddy told her to do, Daphne Joy and the others. Mary J. Blige. And should they say Mary J. Blige looks so sad right now, touring right now? She looks so sad at her residency. She don't look like she want to be there, but again, these people have signed a contract in exchange for fame. We have your souls, people. Being up on that television screen is not what you think it is. Taking these people's money is not what you think it is, even in business. I'd be careful taking these people's money in business. Being an agent, not understanding your laws, not understanding these implied contracts, not reading is so important. Please understand that. Read, educate yourself. Yeah. Let me tell you something. They are continuing to make more prisons. There's a lot of people who are in there for things that they did not do. And there's going to be a lot more people in there for things that they did not do. Why? Because they're building prisons. they're building prisons. So if they're building them, then there's a demand for them, which means that they're going to have to start creating more crimes. If people are not committing crimes, then what do you think they're going to do? They're going to start creating more crimes, or they're going to force a situation where people don't have a choice but to what? Commit crimes. Do we really think that what they're doing with the stock market, what they're doing with the job market right now is by design? No. Like I said, that movie with Keke Palmer and the Boosters, and then Young Miami's song coming out at the same time, I do not think that is just by chance. I think that's, again, engineered that way. That our economy is the way that it is right now to promote scamming, boosting, fraud behavior. Same thing with COVID. I mean, they literally put it out there for y'all. They put COVID out there, and then what they did? Oh yeah, PPP loan. How many people do you know went to jail for the PPP loan, or got arrested, or on probation, or have been investigated for that? I knew it was a setup from the jump. I was like, no, I'm gonna take that money. Something not right about it. Something not right about it. Everything about COVID, I had already been prepared in advance for that situation. We had a whole little thing in the group I was a part of, Sovereignty 2020. We started really getting prepared in 2017 for Sovereignty 2020 because it was something coming down the pipeline where they was going to tell us, okay, y'all got to comply. I was working at the schools, working at the job. They wanted me to get vaccinated at Chicago Public Schools. I said no. That was my choice. I said no, thank you. So what does that mean? That mean that shit, I got to figure out something. I can't work for these people no more. And I had already been working on investing in myself, learning how to invest, cultivating my class, getting familiar, doing things that were hard, stepping outside the box. Always have you a job, no matter what kind of job it is. Yes, always have something going on. Like I tell people, you can drop me off in the middle of the ocean, not the middle of the ocean. Okay, don't drop me off in the middle of the ocean. Don't do that. But you can drop me off in any country, and I'm gonna make me some money. Shit, now with AI, come on now. There's nothing I can't do now. And I teach other people how to make money because no matter what, businesses are going to need people that know how to make them money. And I'm one of them kind of people. I know how this shit works. And I may not speak your language. That's okay. But I got something for that. Don't worry about that. I got something with that. I can always connect with somebody that do speak the language or that can translate, that can hook me up with somebody that also knows the culture in your culture, that knows the slang of y'all language, that knows this, that knows that know how to get the young people through the door. It may take me some time, but I know it. And we're gonna get them numbers up. Cause I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. You can drop me off anywhere. Y'all gotta keep investing in yourself. You really do. Invest in yourself. Then it starts with the mind. Take up space in your mind with your dreams, your visions. Do not worry and consume your mind with all this stuff on social media, all these things that are happening in your world. Consume and fill up your mind with love, with things you want to see, with things you want to do, who you want to be. Consume your mind with your visions, your gifts. Because, like I told one of my clients the other day, I told them, I said, look, because they were using language, they said, if I don't have the money, then uh, I'm not gonna dream about it, right? And I said, no, 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 don't think like that because with everything that I've manifested, there was a lot of times I didn't have the money. I didn't even know where it was gonna come from, but I believed in it. I believed in it, and there would be times where, man, there would be times where literally, y'all, I didn't even have money to fill up my tank. I went maybe about a year where I was not able to fill up my tank to full. Okay. But the little gas I did have, the times I was able to, I would go to this place and I would sit there and I would just literally manifest my vision into fruition, into the physical reality. That's what I would do. I didn't care about the money that I didn't have or whatever. I didn't care that my clothes were old. I needed new clothes. I needed this. I needed that. I didn't care about any of that stuff. All I cared about was my vision. All I cared about was everything that I desired. I would go to the library. It was free. I would go to the library, little change I did have, whatever. I would go print out my vision board. Print out stuff from Google, put it on there together, use the glue sticks from the library. Take the vision board, tape it up at the house. That's what I would do. It gets weird for me because if I say it's scamming the system, it really is that bad. Then on the other hand, it's like leading people into a burning building. It's all a trap. Yeah, I mean, the only thing that one can do, and I'll tell you this, read what's written for you in the stars. And then figure out if you are on point and on target with that. Figure out if you are already in alignment with what your path says about you. My path has laid it out for me. Like I told you, I use tools such as cardology. You all know I do astrophotography readings, but I also do astrophotography readings not in a way that everybody does it. Okay. I have learned from an OG astrophotographer who also utilizes the least aspected planet. So I'm in alignment with that, which is unreal and unbelievable. Couldn't even believe that. And then I also use just reading my natal chart. I I always go to my natal chart and find something new. Always go to my natal chart and find something new that makes sense for me. I am in constant study of myself. So when you read what is already easy for you, such as or you already study what comes easy to you and you step into that, that is how you can master things. Do I teach day trading? No. I used to teach people about cryptocurrency and things like that, making money online and stuff like that. I stopped doing it, guys, because one, I wanted to focus on my medicine path. That's another thing. Damn, I didn't even say that. Look at that, crazy. I wanted to focus on my medicine path, right? Um, I needed to focus on that and make that sacrifice. And the other thing, I also just didn't like the energy that came. People were coming to me wanting to make money. All this stuff that was coming, it was just too much at once. People dumping their problems on me, blah 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 blah. It was too much energy. It was too much going on. The wrong crowd, right? The wrong crowd getting money from other different places and stuff. It was too much. Um, I was talking about the Young Miami song when I wrote that sentence. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, I see what you mean now. Yep. It is. The music that she's got, it is leading people into a burning building. A lot of the music is like leading people into a burning building and they don't really understand it. Like these kids, they can literally have two-parent households and they listen to this music or they see what their friends got or they see what friends don't have two-parent households and how they're being raised and the things they say and how their peers are received from other people, and then they're just they're easily influenced by this music. It's crazy. They're easily influenced by this music and we really do not realize how it plays in our subconscious. Even TikTok, getting on TikTok every day, it is not good for us, y'all. Some stuff is like to get a good laugh. It's amazing for that. Like I will bust up laughing. You know what I mean? Like I did this morning. Man, I was busting up laughing at TikTok. It was so funny, you know. But then as soon as it get into something low vibrational and trauma and all this other stuff, I get off of it and then I get to something else. I get a good laugh, but then I get off. It's not even on my page anymore. I mean, not even in my on my home screen anymore. I can't do it because it overloads the subconscious and it does impact our manifestation and what we put out. Our subconscious is so important to protect. So you got to flood your subconscious with things that you want to do. Like I have been flooding my subconscious with building material because shit, it's rainy season in Costa Rica right now, but I'm gonna have somebody get out there and get that yard done so I can start building this cabin I want to build. A little small cabin. That's what I want to do. So that's what I consume my time with. How do you find out about your path? Okay, good question. You find out about your path, number one, with your birthday and your birth time. You need to get your natal chart. You need to get your natal chart. There's many different things that you could do. I would say I'm gonna put this in the comments. Your natal chart with astrology. That's one. Then what you need to do, you need your birth time. So you need your birth time. The other thing you could do is find your least aspected planet with astrology, which I help people do. Y'all go to my website, pageflowers.com. Find your least aspected planet with astrology and astrocartography. Okay. Um, Something else that can help you is cardology free resource. Figure out your spread for cardology, life spread. And y'all can go to Aquarius Maximus website. Her website is pretty good. Aquarius Maximus. Aquarius Maximus. Okay, yeah, I think I spelled her website wrong. Maximus. You put your birthday in. It'll show you your birth, and it's a free resource. You put your birthday in. You're able to see your birth card and all the other cards, the other 12 cards that you got that's a part of that's associated with your spread. Okay. You know, I look at every single, even the people in my family. I'm able to look at our cardology spreads, and I'm able to see, oh my God, everybody in our family has a karmic relationship with one another. And the most interesting relationship that I see personally is between a relationship with my mother and father and me, and how our relationship is a completely karmic one. We literally come together and we have a past life relationship. The card of the Six of Hearts, which indicates past life relationships, past life relationship, loving relationship. Something going on there between my mom and my dad, and they both are the same card, so they have the same life spread. So everything about their divine mirrors. Okay, they were reflective mirrors, which I thought was very interesting. So it tells a story, even in the seasons of your life, like what you're going through right now, what's going on. It tells stories. Okay, so understanding who and what you are in your relationship to everything. Also, you can look at your matrix destiny. Matrix destiny. That's another one. Matrix destiny reading or chart or whatever the case may be. Some people say human design. I don't study human design like that. Your human design. Some people say human design. I think you should look at every single aspect. You can look at your Mayan calendar, Mayan calendar, or Mayan astrology, whatever. You just need to study every aspect of you, okay, and see what stands out to you. Number one, I'll give you an example, okay, and I feel like this is true. I have Pluto and Scorpio at 29 degrees in the third house. Okay, Pluto and Scorpio at 29 degrees in the third house, which is a mastery degree. It's the highest degree in astrology, the 29th degree. So what that says is Pluto is the planet of where you connect with people on a deep level, the deepest level. The planet of transformation, the planet of rebirth, death, destruction. Um, the planet of connection with others, again, deeper than what's on the surface. Okay. And eventually, I feel like Pluto is mastery. So, um, Pluto in Scorpio, which is also a death and rebirth sign, is pretty intense. Okay. Um, in the third house deals with social media, deals with communication, deals with the local community, deals with siblings, um, deals with writing, deals with music, deals with any form of communication, podcast, whatever. So at 29 degrees, it would make me a professional at social media. And I feel like that. Like like I said, growing up, I found my voice through social media because I couldn't relate to people in the local community. So there could be a wound there, right? I could feel like I couldn't relate to the people in my local community, which is Third House. So I found another community and formed another community by getting on social media. I started when I was 16 years old. I would get on the computer. I found a whole new world. My mom gave me a computer when I was in what, the second grade. That's when I got my computer. Okay. So got my computer and I was on the computer. I would make fake profiles. I learned how to make MySpace looking profiles, Bebo looking, learn how to do that, learn how to do paint, or now it's Photoshop, but we learn how to work with paint, learn how to do all this other stuff. And I just found a whole new world on social media, or the world of the computer. Okay. So it said that in my natal chart, like, you are gonna do well in communications and social media. And that's what I did. I mean a whole life on social media. Never would have thought that I would have found work for myself outside of a normal 9 to 5, have my business because of social media. Everything I ever wanted to do, I always included social media. This is very important to me. So it says that in my natal chart. And I have to deal with the destruction of and the rebirth of my social media platforms being taken from me. Right? I got to learn how to deal with building things from the ground up, starting again, building things from the ground up, starting again, because that's what the 29th degree is in astrology. You got to learn the mastery of death, rebirth, losing, gaining all over again, because that's what creates mastery. You was programming MySpace, yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm telling y'all, like, study yourself, study what's already written for you, and you go in alignment with that path. Go in alignment with that path. They say, they'll tell you, okay, your Jupiter is the lesson. It's one astrologer I listen to. Jupiter is the lesson. Jupiter is also in the third house for me too. Jupiter in Sagittarius. Jupiter is in the third house for me too. So social media, where I find luck and things like that, blessings and stuff in the third house. And Saturn is the responsibility for learning those lessons. So it makes sense for me because he's like, you need to pay attention to the degree. The sixth degree deals with work. So I do have Jupiter in Sagittarius in the third house at 6 degrees. 6 degrees deals with work. So again, it says it in the natal chart. 6 degrees, Jupiter in Sagittarius in the third house. You're going to be working on social media. Yeah. Makes sense, right? And in the sixth house, the Saturn for me is in the sixth house. You master the lesson and then you take on the responsibility. Saturn is in the sixth house. So where your Saturn is at, my Saturn is in the sixth house. So if I master the lesson of learning how to work on social media, I have the responsibility now of working um, every day on social media, if that makes sense. So it's just something to think about. And it doesn't just deal with social media, it deals with the local community, right? Because I have to have a balance between my local community and the community that I create online. So that's important. That's how we master, things like CERN. That is how we master reality manipulation and control or whatever, is through recognizing who and what we are and our relationship to the environment around us. People cannot control you when you control you. I don't care about some CERN particle accelerator. I don't care about these dark magic rituals they're doing in the background. That does not affect me. Why? Because I am the author of my reality. I control it. I make sure that I don't bring all this negative stuff in my mind or fear based programming or belief. And if I do listen to some of this stuff, because again, my job is to keep up with what's going on in the reality so that I can create the solution for that particular problem. I work on what is preventative. Okay. I work on preventative solutions. So, yes, every now and then I do have to dip and dab and see what's going on in the world, as some of you all should too. But you need to have things to protect yourself, and you need to believe in yourself above anything else. And realize that these people do not have any control over you. That is so important, people. Like I told you all a long time ago, people are like, man, I wanna go move to Asia. I'm so sick of America. So much stuff going on. I wanna go move to Africa. I wanna go move to Central America, South America. The first thing that you need to do is you need to run inside. Because when you run inside, meaning that when you go within and realize and recognize who you are and that you can control this reality no matter what, then you can go anywhere. But if you're running away because of fear and you don't have your internal world together, you're going to bring that same chaos no matter where you go. You're going to bring that same chaos to Africa. You're going to bring that same chaos to Asia. You're going to bring that same chaos to South America, Mexico, wherever you're going to go. You're going to bring that same chaos with you. You're going to bring that same fear based programming with you. And you're going to be stuck in a dimension and cycles that you can't get out of because you refuse to take accountability, responsibility, and adepthood for your life. And it starts with energy. Again, don't have nothing to do with being a good person. It has everything to do with you taking control over your energy, taking control over your subconscious, taking control over your belief in oneself. It starts from within. The change starts from within. You want a certain amount of money, the change starts from within. I keep telling people it doesn't matter if you have the money or not. Start believing in yourself, believing in your vision. Take inspired action. See results. Be consistent. There's nothing in the world I feel like I can't do. I mean, I'm not gonna go thinking I'm a bird flying off a cliff. Come on now, people. But one of the things that I do know is that from recognizing my limitations with the human body, I also recognize my ability to be unlimited in my capabilities. So I look at what it is I'm able to be capable of in the human body and recognize that there is no limit to what I can do. But it starts with the shift. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of people out there, I listen to some of these manifestation coaches or whatever. The stuff that works for them may work for them, but it may not work for everybody. So I just tell people at the end of the day, you do not have to believe in whatever it is that you want. Some of you all are not going to believe in it anyway because you don't feel it. The best thing that you can do is be delusional through and through. I have been one to be delusional about every single thing in life. You got to be borderline, borderline crazy. Okay, you got to be borderline crazy, but you got to be delusional, and continue to keep telling yourself as if it already is going on, not as if It's happening in the future. You can tell yourself stuff as if it's already going on. You need to flood your subconscious with the information every single day. And each affirmation, you need to do at least 10 minutes to 20 minutes a day, just flooding yourself with it. You don't have to believe it, but just flood your subconscious with it because it can't tell the difference between what's true and what's not true. Even if you don't believe it, doesn't matter if you don't believe it. Your subconscious can't tell if you believe in it or you don't believe in it. You are hoping to retire in Colombia. One of the affirmations that you say, I am retiring in Colombia. You say that repeatedly for 10 minutes. Don't even come up for air. All you think about is, I am retiring in Colombia. I'm retiring in Colombia. I'm retiring in Colombia. I'm retiring in Colombia. If you can't say it out loud, then you just think it over and over and over and over and over and over again. Put a timer on and leave it at that. And then when you're done for the day, you feel accomplished. You do it again the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day. Even better, if you can find somewhere in public that you can say it out loud with conviction, right? It's even better. If you can't say it out loud, you can't find your private place, and just say it as you can, right? Say it however you can, or again, just think about it and keep going and going and going for 10 minutes straight. Don't stop. You'll be amazed at what comes. I'm telling you, man, my life changed so. When I tell you, life can change so quick. It can change so quick like that, and it can take you by surprise how quickly things change when you start doing what I'm telling you to do. Write a list. You will be impressed and amazed. Um, but my mama told me non-behavioral maturity and emotions are never relevant. Yep. I don't smoke chronic, Carisha or Carnisha, who's shopping. Well, good. I'm glad you don't do any of that. I'm not one to do any of that either. And that's another thing too. Like people would think, by me being in Costa Rica or whatever, that I may be into drinking and smoking, and I'm absolutely not. I am at a point in my life, guys, where I am high off life. Hey Sheila, how are you, dear? So good to see you. I am high off life. I do not have to do anything outside of breathe and outside of enjoying my life. I am happy in my space. I am happy with my cat. And I mean, I love my cat so much. I am happy with my cat. I'm happy with the nature that I'm around every day. Um, the fact that I have achieved so many great manifestations, where life is going. Um, I'm just happy with life, and even when things were not fun or peachy, and when it was absolute hell, I just said, I am not going to escape through marijuana or drinking or anything like that. I am going to feel my feelings. I am really going to feel through this pain, because there is going to be um, a instance where I am going to show others the way through um, this pain. Why were you worried about me because I was doing mushrooms? Listen, I can do mushrooms today. Mushrooms are not the problem for me. In fact, they have been an evolutionary tool for me, to grow, to evolve. All entheogens that I've taken, every last one of them, and I still do plan to take them. You know, but right now, especially as I'm going through really life changes, I had a choice. I had a choice to heal with entheogens, I had a choice to be sober. And with the death of a parent, I decided at this time that I was not going to be doing anything. And when you go through these life changes, especially when you lose a parent or you lose, family members. I also lost a cat. There was somebody I was talking to and things like that. I lost so much at once, and instead of going numb, I decided to feel my feelings, and I wouldn't. Some people would not agree with that. I think with everything that I had lost in such a short period of time, some people would probably do something. Some people would probably do drinking. Some people would probably do smoking or whatever. Some people probably do a lot of stuff. But I decided I really, really wanted to feel my feelings and to go through it without um, using those things, right? Um, and what I found by doing that was, yeah, I was absolutely crushed. I ended up having broken heart syndrome for months. It was horrible. But what I recognized during that time was going out in nature often became my drug of choice. Okay. And there was a time period where I said, I will come back to entheogens, such as mushrooms and others, but it will be at a time where uh, there will be more structure to my usage, in a way where the dosages would be higher, um, more in an organized, controlled setting. So yeah, I will take more and more and more. um, but it's rare when people struggle with losing things at once and they hide in those medicines. No, you got to feel your feelings. You got to feel your feelings. And then when you feel your feelings, then you become a master. You put yourself back together. And then now you use those tools such as mushrooms or ayahuasca as tools of exploration rather than healing. Because you can heal without those things. But exploration is something that's a gift when you heal after you go through your process. So that's where I am right now. Long story short. I'm so glad you have my painting, Sheila. And I send my condolences to you, trusting God. I appreciate your condolences to me. I send my condolences to you because that's just so hard to deal with. It's the hardest thing I feel people have to deal with is losing loved ones, especially so close to you, the people that birthed you. It's a very hard thing. A time is just it does not make it easier either. It's like when you lose parents, you are not on the same timeline as everybody else. You're not on the same time as everybody else. Time is just not even a factor, really. You'll wake up 3 years later and you're like, wow, this happened. The world went on, and I'm still in a place of where I'm getting back to myself. So just have some grace with yourself and take it slow. Take it slow. You know, if you have community, reach out for help. Just don't be afraid to slow your life down. If you can, slow your life down and heal. Yeah. Gangster Wizzle. Okay. Um, I have been on live nearly 2 hours. The other thing that I did not talk about is the flock cameras. So, number one, uh, they put these things up. I told people long time ago that they were putting these, cameras and things like that in the reality to surveillance people. It's been a part of their plan to surveillance people. They're putting a lot of surveillance in the new cars where they and I told people about this a couple of years ago where Ford had filed a patent where there's going to be a lot of surveillance in your car. Like even if you have a car note and you don't pay your car for whatever reason, they can shut your car off. They can shut your car off while you driving. Okay, they can shut your car off. You don't pay your car note. They have cameras where they're able to watch you. If it looks weird while you're running to your car, you could be running to your car from danger. And if you look weird, you look disheveled, or you look a certain way, your car will not start. You won't even be able to drive it. Okay. If you have warrants or anything like that, they have your facial recognition. They're able to send it to law enforcement, etc. This is the kind of stuff that is here, not coming down the pipeline, but it's already here. So a lot of people will be buying more older cars. So if you have an older car that you want to get rid of, um, you know, um, you know, you could make some money off of it. People are figuring out DIY um, solutions for removing some of this stuff off your car. Literally, these auto companies are literally making it to where you can't even fix your car anymore. You can't even fix tail lights or whatever. They will literally make it um, hard for you to do anything like they're doing now to people. They want people to depend on the dealership. Period. Point blank. So this kind of stuff that is going on with the surveillance from private equity companies. Just please understand that this is stuff that's been going on down the pipeline. If you do not want to be surveillance or whatever the case may be, y'all are going to have to put up a fight. As I told you guys on some of my talks, traffic tickets are the easiest to beat. And traffic tickets are the entry point into understanding how this system works, especially as it pertains to America. You need to understand that if you are not at work, they do not have a right to invade your privacy, which means they do not have a right to subject you to commercial laws. They don't have a right to subject you to certain statutes, penal codes, or whatever the case may be if you are not working and on the clock. Listen, oh, you were speeding. Oh, we suspect you of a crime or whatever. Well, I'm not at work. What are you talking about? These commercial laws, statutes, codes, or whatever, penal codes, they do not apply to me right now. If it's not a common law thing, okay, or common law offense, and you're not at work, you're not working on the clock, you're not acting as an agent, they have no right to do these things. So it's gonna have to take a lot of y'all to stand up to this stuff. Like I said, there's nowhere to run. They're trying to do this all over the world. It's gonna have to take people standing up to this stuff. Can I do more videos on these commercial codes? Yes, I can. I did have I was cussing a bit more, but I did have a video on the AI glitch series where I know Bobby had asked me a question, and so I went into depth on a case that I had beat because they wanted me to provide information such as the passport ID, driver's license, etc. They wanted me to identify who I was, and I refused because I was like, I'm not at work. I'm a religious minister on a religious mission. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, and you are suspecting me of what? Oh, you said that I had a traffic violation. Okay, traffic would mean that I would need a license, and I'm working on behalf of the state. The traffic ticket has said what? I had to be a resident to even qualify to go to court, to be tried for whatever offense it was, which is a misdemeanor. They said, oh, well, you made this turn or whatever. You are refusing to identify. Those were the charges, refusing to identify or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, I'm not at work. I'm not working on a clock. This is the thing. If you have a car that's registered or a truck that's registered, or whatever the case may be, okay, what that is that you're registering property to um, to the state, giving the state property, um, and you are now an agent working for the state. That's the assumption. The assumption is that you're an agent working for the state and you're in state property. That's what you were registered a car for. Okay. However, you cannot be on the clock 24 hours a day. If you got a driver's license, you can't be up under that driver's license 24 hours of the day. It's 1 a.m. You can't make the assumption that I'm working for the state, and the state has never cut me a check. Department of Revenue has never cut me a check. And when I say the state, I mean the DMV. The DMV is the one. Department of Motor Vehicles is the one. Okay, quote unquote, with this contract, quote unquote, with the agreement, with the registration. So the Department of Motor Vehicles has never cut me a check through their Department of Revenue, which is the Department of Revenue. And y'all are holding me to these penal codes and statutes, but I qualify, and I'm telling you, I'm not at work. I don't have a driver's license because that's business, and I've never gotten paid for them. You would basically be subjecting me to slavery because I don't have a license to do business. Don't have a license. I'm not at work. Never got a check from the Department of Revenue. Y'all say I'm an agent, or you're assuming that I'm an agent because you're subjecting me to these codes. And only agents or people that have public office can qualify for this. People at work, jobs that are registered with the Department of Labor. And those jobs, I would be what? A part of the quote unquote, it would look like what? I'm a part of public office. I didn't qualify for any of it. So that's how I got it dismissed, because I was like, this is crazy. It's crazy. So yeah, I got it dismissed because I sent it to the insurance company. I said, this is a liability. This is BS. And and then even the officer, like I said, wrote on the ticket I was unemployed. You got to be stupid to write that. He wrote I was unemployed, so I put that also in the notice because I said I was suing them, blah blah blah. And they got rid of it. They took it out of the courthouse. What happened to your car? Nothing happened to my car. They left and said, you may want to call you an Uber. You may want to call you an Uber. You can't drive. So they gave me my ticket, but they let me go. Yeah, I didn't have no license. I didn't give them no ID, no credit card. I didn't give them a goddamn thing. They had to do their research on me because they was like, you know what, we're just going to take you to jail. And when they realized that I wasn't complying or anything like that, they was doing all kinds of research, trying to find me on Nexus, and all this other stuff. And they just was like, you know what, we're just going to assume that she's this and this, that, and the third. And they kept saying, is this you? Is this you? I said, well, under direct threat or duress, yes, that is me. I just want to go home. I'm scared now. Y'all got me spooked. Shit. Whatever it is that you want to assume, just put it on the paper. No, it's not under direct threat or duress. I said, yes, it is. Okay, whatever you say, because I'm scared. I just want to go home. You just gotta play that role. I'm scared. I just want to go. I'm afraid. I'm shaking. Shit at this point. So you gotta do whatever you gotta do to get home. You don't want to be. You don't want to go to jail, and you don't want to be dead. Okay, it was in the middle of the fucking night, in the deep South in Louisiana, Okay, got 10 sheriffs on me. I don't want to be hanging from a tree. Just go home. Just do whatever you need to do to get home, folks, and fight when you go home. Okay, it's the most wisest thing you can do. So, let me answer this question. This is exactly what, okay. Let me answer this question. Okay. What would be the best place to start to understand these statutes and codes? Well, number one, you can go look at your state laws. Look at the state laws. Okay. Look up the connection. Like, say for instance, look up a traffic. Let me go to Google real quick. Look up a traffic law, or let me just type in traffic laws for Texas. So I'm gonna go to, let's see, what is this? Cornell. Okay, Legal Information Institute. Go into Cornell Law is really good to look at um stuff on Cornell Law is pretty good. But say for instance you're looking at traffic laws for Texas. Go to the Texas Transportation Code. Transportation codes. Look up what they're connected to. They're governed by the administrative state regulations. So you go to the administrative state regulations, you start reading on that, who it applies to. Then you connect that, okay? You connect that to the federal, because the state can't operate without the federal. This is where you start. Even easier is, I mean, you don't want one, but if they give you I mean, I can't even say you don't want one. I mean, how I started was getting into it myself. Come on now. I got a ticket, so I had to learn. That's how you learn. You know, is just to read. You read it, right? Whatever laws they say you were. Oh, I got a speeding ticket. Okay, what does the statute say on the speeding ticket? Because they have to write the infraction down. Then you look up that infraction, you see what it's connected to. You read who it applies to. You read the back of your ticket. The back of the ticket said I had to be a resident of the state of Louisiana. That's what it said. It says by you getting receiving this ticket, you have to be you have to be a resident of the state of Louisiana. I've never been a resident of the state of Louisiana, so I never qualify. Problem is they use a lot of abuse tactics. They use a lot of, oh, you're going to jail, you're doing this, you're doing that, you better do this, you better do that, you better show up to court. Well, if the ticket says that I have to be a resident of the state and I've never been a resident of the state, it doesn't matter how abusive or forceful you get with me. You don't know the law, I do, and that's what's going to put your ass in trouble. Problem is we so scared because they got these guns and these badges, and they're stupid, they're ignorant, they do not read their own laws. That's what they put the dumbest people out there on the road with a gun and a badge, and they use a lot of force and fear-based tactics so that you don't actually read. And it's so important that we just read. Somebody that I love listening to, go to Keith Little, El Perro on YouTube. He's a deep brother. He's a bit more advanced for beginners. But go to his channel and read. You could just sit there. I can listen to Keith all day long. I love listening to what Keith got to say. He's so intelligent. The man has had 93 cases in court. 93 cases in court. He's had to stumble and fall on his goddamn face, but he eventually figured it out. In the 30-year span, 93 cases. The state of blah, blah, blah versus Keith Little. Like, are you kidding me? I will be shitting. 93 cases? Man, get the hell out of here. Go listen to that man. Very intelligent. Very intelligent. We got to stop listening to this bullshit. He's very intelligent and has a lot of good information in comparison to other people. Send a donation if you can, if it if it helps, and if you want to look into some other information. I don't think she has a YouTube, but start with Keith. Go to his YouTube channel. Go into the search bar, and if it's a particular topic that you want to learn about, then you put it up in the search bar personally on his channel, and then see what comes up, and then just take all that knowledge and information in. The brain will start to expand. Be prepared to open up a different tab. It's better if you read along with it because he breaks it down. He also goes into the etymology of it because, again, the words in which we understand it are not the words in which they use it. You need to have a foundation in Latin and some other different things, and he goes over it as well with you. Okay. This is exactly why I'm getting out of America. Why would I want to continue to live in a world corporation? That's the thing though. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Everywhere. Even in Costa Rica, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. The laws are literally the same. They have the Republic of Costa Rica, and then they also have their corporate side too. They got their commercial licenses. They have the public transit, so they have the public and the private here. Yes, it's all the same. It's all the same. They have a corporate side. Why? They got a corporate side, so why? They can do trade and commerce on a world stage. So they can do what? So they can trade. So they can trade oil. So they can trade gas. They can trade, produce. Costa Rica exports a lot of medical machines. They have to have a corporate side to engage with the other parties. Otherwise, you're invisible to them. And it's true. If you want to go get a loan, you gotta have what? You gotta have a corporate side where you can interface with them. Otherwise, you can't talk to them. And we also think that just by having these corporate signs, that it's also a bad thing. It just really depends on how you use it. We think that I understand like the birth certificate and all these things, the social security card is this, that, and the third. It's horrible, this, that, and the third. But it really depends on how you use these instruments. Like I said, if you're not at work, then none of it really applies. It doesn't matter if I got a social security card. It don't matter if I got a birth certificate. Hell, it don't matter what the hell going on. I don't care. It don't matter if I got a driver's license. I'm not at work, so I'm not subject to these rules, laws, regulations, statutes, penal codes. It don't matter. Now, if you at work and you doing certain things, you breaking the law, were you subject to that? Okay, but if you're not, then you're not subject to it. You got to understand that. And it applies everywhere you go, folks. That's why it's so important to read. I'm reading things. I'm trying to translate a lot of the stuff Costa Rica law. I'm trying to learn the language because I'm sure it's very similar. Some things are very similar to the United States, but this is a different country. Some things don't apply. Some things do apply. So you gotta spend time learning. Because there are things that it's very rare where people just never interface with the system. It's very rare. And unfortunately, I may have to interface with this system on some things I may not agree with down here in Costa Rica or any other place. So I have to know the language. I have to stand my ground because, again, this corporate shit, this whole deflock camera, life surveillance, biometric system, central banking, digital currency kind of world, They want to enforce it everywhere. There is nowhere to go. So the best thing you can do is go inside. Thank you so much, Jesse. Thank you so much. Um, yeah. Yeah, I know. We tired of fighting the World Corporation, but it's coming down. It is coming down, guys. You got to know it. It is coming down, and with our power and energy, it is gonna come down. It's gonna come crashing down. The thing is that we don't want to be right there when it comes crashing down. Let it fall, but you don't want to be in the rubble. You got to get away from it. Have your own thing going on. You got so many tickets you never paid. Yeah, you know. Um, Even in Chicago, they stopped bothering me about jury duty. They stopped bothering me, trying to bully me to go to jury duty. I never registered to vote. That's nothing. I never registered to vote. They kept trying to bully me to go to jury duty. Oh, we're gonna come arrest you. They ain't come arrest me. Shit, I said I'm not going. I ain't got to go. It's your duty. No, the hell it's not. Don't bully me. I have deja vu that I was listening to this show and sitting here before. Yep. Probably so. That's right. Shoot. Yeah. Yeah, Sheila, go to your state, look up codes for whatever you need help with, then use the code that best suits your situation. There you go. Yeah. Keith Little is white. He's a white man. He's a white man. Yep. He's a white man. I put in El Perro in parentheses because the channel is gonna come up as El Perro. It's gonna come up as El Perro. Is any black teachers that teach the commercial codes as well? He works with this lady named Malika and a couple other people in the group at freedomfromgovernment.org. But they have a lot of the but there's a lot of free information on Keith's page. It doesn't even matter. Like the color is, I'm telling y'all that it don't even matter about the color shit. I'm gonna tell you some of the ones that I found with the color, like some of the most ignorant motherfuckers I ever met. There are some Moors over there in that group with Freedom from Government that are very, very intelligent and wonderful. But I'm telling you, they don't come with that same garbage that a lot of these Moors, like Taj Street Bay and everybody that's learned from him and all that other stuff. No disrespect to Taj Street Bay. I have just elevated and moved on to a whole nother thing because it doesn't matter about nationality and all the other bullshit like people think. You need your nationality. You don't need that shit. You need to know that you need to know how these laws and codes apply to you when you are not at work, which they don't. If you're not harming nobody, you ain't breaking no common law, no none of that. You need to just know that. But you be going up in that courtroom, which you even shouldn't even go to court. You be going up in that courtroom with that damn fez on and feathers. Oh, I'm indigenous. I'm this, that, and third, blah, blah, blah. And they're gonna be, oh, very good to know that. So let's go ahead with these proceedings. They're gonna drag your ass. They're gonna drag your ass. They're gonna give you a good old wedgie. And when they're done, they're gonna sit you down like the child that you are because you have not read. And trust me, don't get me wrong, I've had to be a fool myself because I was following sheep and I was following ignorant people and I was being a sheep myself. But we all have our ignorant moments. But we must come into adeptness and adulthood. One must study because if you follow people just based off of color, you end up missing some very important knowledge and information that can help you advance. I'm telling you, he got a lot of good information up on that page. Very intelligent brother. 93 cases. I don't know anybody who has had 93 cases. I mean, to be on a court docket 93 times, I probably would have had a heart attack. Oh my God, I'm getting sued again. Oh my God, I got charged again. Oh my God, another felony. Oh no. 93 cases, and they don't even bother him anymore. Sure, he got other shit going on. I mean, come on, there's gonna be some stuff, but for the most part, they don't bother him because he's a bad motherfucker. Are you kidding me? Listen to the knowledge and information. Don't look at the color. Okay. Um, Good question. Are addresses military places? Okay, so they say that your address, according to Keith's information, that your address is a inland military post. Okay, they look at your address as a military barrack. They look at your address as a military barrack, an extension of the military barrack. Okay, the federal zone, the zip code. Okay, the zone improvement plan. Okay, for the federal zone. So the mailbox is federal property. Okay, your mailbox is federal property, but they have it as your house is federal property, which is not. That is a private abode. But see, when you don't understand it, and they look at that as also an extension of a federal zone. See, and we don't know that. They look at it as an extension of a military barrack. So when the soldiers go to the military quarters or their bedrooms, that's what they have it as, that you're a public agent, that you're a part of the military, extension of the military. Okay, a subordinate, one that orders, one that's on the payroll for them, but you ain't never got no check. One that's subject to what? To be tried in their what? Military tribunal. And Keith also he breaks a lot of this stuff down too. It's bad stuff. It's cold blooded stuff, and some of the stuff is old information. But a lot of stuff I heard him talk about, it blew my mind. It still blows my mind. Why are they saying Moors and Moors are different? Okay, so they're saying they're different because oh, let me answer Jesse's question. Skip that. Eh, anyway, you recommend doing a colon cleanse of juices. The guy that I recommend that do the colon cleanse is real good. He's not doing them anymore. But there's another guy. He does colon cleanses. I think his name is Osei Kufor. I'm not really. Oh, hold on, Kufor. Uh, Kufor. I think that's how you spell his name. On Facebook, he has some colon cleanse formula. He got some stuff out there. It's pretty good. I personally, the best was Absorb More Sun, but he don't do them no more. I don't know why he won't do them no more. Man, that was a good product. I still got some of the product. It's old. I bought a lot of my stuff in advance, but um, such a good product, man. The only thing I can think of is maybe you make your own. You make your own. What do you be talking about on this channel? What do you be talking about? Okay. My teacher is Mansa Vision. Is also a righteous more as well. Okay, yeah, wherever y'all can get the knowledge and information, as long as you know that a lot of this stuff don't have anything to do with your nationality. None, a lot of this stuff don't have anything to do with your nationality. None of it. Everything that they're talking about right now, or that they have people subject to, has nothing to do with your nationality, has nothing to do with your relationship to your indigenous status. It is highly irrelevant when these officers come to you and they're talking to you and initiating conversation with you. You must conduct yourself intelligently and calmly and understanding what is going on with you at the time they initiate communication with you. If you're not at work and are trying to force you into work or convert uh, your private rights for public use. Okay, your private property to public use, and your private property is your time. They're trying to convert your private time and convert you over to be subject to being on the clock, and you're not at work. So they're taking your private time and converting it over to public time, making you subject as a worker for them on the clock, telling you that you're quote unquote breaking laws at work. And it's not what's going on. And the minute that you understand that, whether you wear fez or whether you wear feathers or whether you wear a goddamn scarf on your head or a cowboy hat, whatever, however you want to talk, whatever. It doesn't matter whether you got Bay at the end of your name or L or whatever, because I'm a L Bay or whatever, but none of it matters. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. Do you understand that you're not at work? If you are at work, then hey, that's a different story. But if you're not at work, why are they talking to you? They shouldn't even be talking to you. Tracy Bay. Okay. You're welcome, Jesse. Absolutely. When does nationality come into play? Nationality only comes into play um, for the sake of one, first of all, nationality comes into play when you understand who you are with this concept, this particular concept. So when you understand these particular concepts, these foundational concepts, then you can use your nationality for other things. Okay. When you understand your relationship to the system first, then you can apply nationality. See, people want to apply nationality first and then layer that with the ignorance and thinking that the nationality is above the foundation. It's not. You need to understand your relation to the system. Okay. You need to understand them and what they are and why they're trying to initiate communication with you. What is their assumption or presumption about you? How can you clear the record? What is wrong in the system where the record is incorrect? Where did you fail to correct the record? And if there's things on the record that are wrong, then you correct it right there on the spot. You have a calm demeanor, you're educated. And remember your objective. You make sure you get home. You don't want to go to jail. You don't want to be dead. So if you know that they're pressing and being ignorant or whatever the case may be, because remember, they don't send the smartest people out there on the road. They send the fools, because the ones that do read, they would know that everything that's going on is fraud. So they don't send the ones that are thinkers. You need to understand that the agents are not smart. No offense to them, but they don't read. They don't read outside. So when one is going to get paid a certain amount of dollars, a lot of people are not going to do everything outside their job description. They're not going to read things outside their job description. A lot of y'all know this. That's why when y'all go to work, you do half-ass shit or you do just enough so you don't get fired. Everybody knows that. Okay, you are not a super worker. You do enough so you don't get fired. Hello. Okay, so they don't send the people out there that are passionate about their jobs. They don't send the people that are passionate about really, really going beyond what is on that job description. They do not send those people out there. They send the ones that do enough so they don't get fired. Some of them, the police, some of them just do get fired. But they send the ones out there who don't read the fine print, who don't read the statutes, who don't read the codes. Okay? That is your job to do that. It's your job. You need to know your relationship to them at the time that they initiate communication with you. That is your job, not their job. Their job is to serve and protect commerce. Their job is to serve and protect the businesses, not you. Their job is to protect trade and commerce and their property. Okay? Very important stuff. When you understand that stuff, you understand statutes, codes, blah, 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 you do that, then it comes into play with nationality. I want to get to the comments in a second. But I talked to a brother. He ended up going to law school because he wanted to get some land back. He studied some law. He recognized how it was set up. He got his family together and he got his tribe together because the tribes are the families, not the people in your community or your neighborhood. The indigenous tribes are your family, okay? Your family, your nuclear and extended family. That is your tribe. So then what he did was he got his family on board, got them together, and then he was able to take over 200 something acres back. And then now that particular family developed a nation where that nation is its own jurisdiction. But he had to understand first his relation to this system. He had to understand the ins and outs of how it works. You understand your relation to it, then you go and use your nationality and you use that to go and take things such as the land back. That's how you do it. We do it so backwards in with the Moors or the indigenous movement or the sovereignty movement. You start with the shit that should be last. I'm sorry. I don't want to be offensive to people or anything, but we have been so backwards and so confused and with misconceptions. It's bullshit. Start with knowledge first. Start with the things that they're getting you on first. Because if they're going to apply the law, 10 times out of 10, they're also breaking the law. Cancel it out. So that's why the police, when they pull me over, they would always ask me, where do I work? Bingo. Because why does it matter? Why does it matter? Where do you work? Why are they asking you that? There you go. See? There you go. There you go. That's one of the reasons why I got my case dismissed, because the goddamn officer put on the ticket as proof, as evidence. Occupation, unemployed. So if I'm unemployed, then none of this shit actually matters, right? So again, they don't put the smartest people on the street, people. I try to say this to people all the time. You're not at work. There you go. If you want to change it to indigenous, that's fine. I mean, listen, being indigenous can provide some benefits, IRS benefits. If you want to have a business or whatever, you want to have an indigenous business to be tax free or whatever the case may be. There are benefits. There are benefits, folks. So, hey, I told a lady, I said, I called the IRS. The IRS has me listed in her system as a white woman, because technically I'm a Moor. So they put it, oh, yep, that's white. Okay, does it matter? No, because they still jack up white people and bang up white people and kill white people in the street all the time. It does not matter. Okay, it may be a higher status, but at the same time, you just got to be careful, people. Okay, understand who you are in relation to the system. Always have a calm demeanor. Always be intelligent and stay sharp and study. Very important, especially if you're living in the United States, of America, and America is under deep occupation with a lot of ignorant people with badge and guns, that break the law every single day, that conduct fraud every single day against the people. So you do have to study, and the abuses are only going to get worse. So people must stay sharp and study. And honestly, I know it may be boring at first. You may feel very, very discouraged, but when you continue on, and you fight through those feelings of feeling stupid or ignorant, whatever the case may be, you get sharper, you get more confident, and then when it comes to your doorstep, because it may, you may have a ticket or something to fight, you fight it with confidence, and then when you win, you realize, oh my God, okay, this is the first step. I can continue to keep moving on and being confident, because that is how we defeat these evils going on with the corporations overthrowing the government, hijacking the government, taking over the government, and doing things for their favor. So that's my recommendation. Do not fear people, just keep on pushing. Thank you so much, Sheila. I appreciate you. That means a lot coming from you. Thank you. There you go. Yeah, just do enough not to get fired. But the police do the same thing. They do enough not to get fired. But the problem is that they should be doing more, and that's why these cases are getting dismissed, because they are breaking the law every single day, and they are insured. And so, like I told people, when you attack them from the insurance angle, because they are breaking laws, and breaking laws, okay, is not insurable. So then when you inform the insurance company of what they're doing, or the risk management department, a lot of this shit disappears, which is your cases. So just keep that in mind, people. What books do you recommend? I don't read no books. Books I recommend for stuff like this, read the laws. Go to Justia Law. Go to Cornell Law. You understand? Read the codes for your General Assembly of your state. That's what I recommend. The books are bullshit, if you ask me. Just read the statutes and the codes. What are they connected to? Who does it apply to? I don't recommend no books. There's so many books you waste time on. Even Black Laws Dictionary, all that bullshit. Just stop. I don't read any of that foolishness anymore. I just don't. I don't. They have it online for you to read. Everything that applies for that. If you're talking about like spiritual books or anything like that I'm working on right now, I can list some stuff for that. But in terms of anything that's related to this law stuff, I look at what they put online for free. The laws, statutes, codes, and stuff like that. That's the most important things. hmm Doctrines, maxims, stuff like that. So, um, okay, guys. Wow, almost 2 hours and 30 minutes. This has been a long live, but I appreciate y'all for being here with me and asking questions. Um, you know, because we are in a world, like I said, where they are doing more mass surveillance and lockdown, and they're going to be creating more laws. They're going to be creating more laws for people to try to break. Um, they're building more prisons because they need to fill more prisons. Um, and so I just know it's very, very important at this time, people, that you get clear on your relationship to this world that we're in, because you could easily fall victim to it. And please control your reality, control your thoughts, and excuse me, get off social media. Um, Try to automate social media. Like y'all will see me posting up on here, but I just do not get on here and stay on here forever. I don't. I put stuff on a scheduler. All right, it posts automatically for me. I don't be up on here every day, so consume yourself with things that are going to help you stay free in this reality, things that are going to liberate you, your family, things that are going to elevate you. If you're focused on money issues or whatever, you're better off focusing on your spirituality, your growth, and your vision. And you'll eventually get there, and you're consistent with inspired action. Thank you all so much. I'm so glad that I was able to talk to you guys today, and a lot of you all that have been with me on this journey for a long time. Thank you all so much for being here with me. Sending love to you, Sheila. Sending love to you. Trust in God, Jesse, Jerediah that checked in, Tom. Okay, thank you all so much for checking in. Let's see, did I miss somebody else? Trust in God. Let's see who else. I'm scrolling all the way up, y'all. Okay, Glass Moon. Yes, thank you all so much for checking in. God bless, and you all take care.